Welcome to our podcast, It's About Payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you. All right, folks, welcome back. We're here for another episode. We thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And we realize that it's the end of the year, and we just said, hey, let's take a break. I'm sure payroll professionals right now are getting inundated with work, with a best practice, with year-end tips. We dropped our year-end tip last episode, right? And yeah, man, I just feel like we can take a break and talk for a second. What do you think, Walt?
Absolutely. I think sometimes we get so bogged down with our work that we forget about our lives. And there's been times you and I work needed to be done and we're working late in the midnight hours to get stuff done. This episode, Brian had an idea to share and with you all and just to remind you about some things about taking that break, taking that stuff and just taking the time and
Self-care.
That self-care and stuff like
Yep.
that. So yeah, that's it, man.
Giving ourselves grace, like you always say, right? Well, giving ourselves grace, giving other folks grace, and just really right now is giving ourselves as payroll professionals grace. We could take a break, man. I think folks have such a hard time with figuring out that self-care because we see it in generations, right? I'm not judging, it's just different mindsets.
Yep.
And I commend the new mindsets because honestly it's pushing the envelope on better workplaces, right? These younger generations that are like, this is not cool.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. That's a good point because that's
Right?
how we get progress, right? Like
Yes.
you mix a little with the old with the new, and you come up with better solutions for stuff, better
Yeah.
things in business. Like we've been running this on old ideas and stuff like that for
Yes.
forever, and
Yes.
so we have to be open to those things, right?
We got to keep our mind open and evolve. It's
Yes.
really evolution.
Yes.
Work-life balance. You know, some folks, oh, you got to have work-life balance. And you talk to folks who really try, who are really like high producers, and they're like, there is no work-life balance. There's no work-life balance because you can't leave it to work to give you the balance you need.
You have to. Yep.
You have to create the work-life balance. And that looks different for everyone. It makes me think of this guy I just heard recently. I don't know his name, sorry. But he said he gets 4 days out of the normal 24 hours. He has a point. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, we subscribe to this ideology. And he says it because it's technology. Technology is the changing factor.
Yeah.
Look at the tools that we have.
Yes.
AI being one of them, which is one of the things I want to chat about. And you think about AI right now and how it's impacting the administrative world, paperwork, busy work,
Yeah.
tasks, right?
Yeah.
It has seriously cut down the time that it takes for us to communicate, to send our ideas, to do our work. And one of the examples he said, he's like, think about it before. We have text messaging and email. Yeah, we're not restricted to the day and time where we had to send a letter to someone and mail it and wait for that mail to get there to finish the other side of the project and then wait for it to come back to be at 100% finished. Think about a document signing, right?
Yep.
And I think he has a point. We have to start thinking about things in a different way because technology has changed the game.
Yeah. It has.
You know, and it's one of the things that our nation is still reeling from. We're reeling from the fact that we still base most of our things on stuff that we had to do 100 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Education system, the 9 to 5, 40-hour work week. What else?
And even back then, think about the different type of job markets that were back then. A lot of jobs back then were factory jobs.
Yep.
Like farming, different jobs that had unions and stuff like that. Whatever. There were a lot of more labor-intensive jobs.
Well, you think about it, it was right. It was the Industrial Revolution. So you're talking farming and mass production. That come on, for all intent and purpose, that is how America was built.
Yeah.
Right. So we, as a society, we trying to, oh wait, no, that's how we did it. That's how America's great. Yeah, but now we often say what got us there is not going to get us to the next spot, right?
Yep.
We have to be open to rethinking how we approach our days because of technology. And then we have to get away from this idea. I've been reading it so often, I guess it's because of year end, of burnout, right? We have to get away from the idea that work is a badge of honor because I work so much. I'm working 10 o'clock at night and I work at 12. It's not a badge of honor because at the end of the day, if you burn yourself out, your job is going to find somebody else real quick. Whereas what about your family?
Yeah.
We see all those posts right now, and I guess it's again because of year end. We got to get away from burnout being a badge of honor. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or overworking.
People think that burnout and hard and working hard are the same thing, right? I think that's the misconception with it. So
Exactly.
you have to realize that you can still work hard, but you can work smarter,
Gotta
right?
work
You know,
smart.
you know what I'm
Yes,
saying? You can work, you can
absolutely.
use your tools, you can use your different things that you have to build better processes and stuff like that. So you don't like you could like you said, carve out that time in your day
You must.
where you take self-care can be a 10-minute break.
Yep.
Self-care could be you going for a little walk down the
Yes.
corner with your kid if you work from home
Yes.
remotely or whatever, and like taking a little break and then going back at it. You
Yep.
know, that can be self-care.
Yep. But I think the two main things is figure out what is self care for you, then
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just figure that out.
Yep.
Figure that out for yourself and don't be ashamed of it
Nope.
and do it.
And do it.
And
Yes,
just do it.
absolutely.
You have that time for self care. Oh, you added some facts here on the burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout. Yeah,
Yeah.
share those facts with us.
So it was on Forbes.com. They did a couple of surveys and they said that burnout is on the rise,
Yep.
and that over half of the survey respondents, like 52%, said they are experiencing burnout, which is a 9% increase from when Indeed did the same survey pre-COVID. So COVID is still having some impact on the burnout and stuff like that because we had to change a lot of the ways that we do the work. I
Right.
think sometimes now that a lot of us are working more remotely, we feel like, okay, I have to show that I'm working hard. I have to show that I'm grinding, and so they
Yep.
don't take this opportunity away from me. So
Yeah.
I have to always constantly stay working. So I think that's why more people are experiencing burnout now, even though there are a lot more remote workers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. That's definitely something that hits home for sure. I can
yeah,
relate to those type of things, man. Yeah, man. So, folks, please, man, just let's be conscious of that fact, especially if you're in payroll and HR industry right now. Service. I think a lot of industry,
yeah,
any industries, come this month, are experiencing the volumes, the highs, the lows, and what it might
mm,
be. So, just take that time for yourself. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself a moment.
yeah,
Find what it is to be self care and do that.
yeah. And if you need help, people, just say that.
Yes, for
Communicate.
real.
Sometimes some of the issues that we can sometimes hoard some of the work that we have, and we don't let anybody know that we're going through, that we're struggling with
Yep.
work, or we're on the verge of burnout.
Yep.
And sometimes we just hold that in because we're like, okay, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want them to think that I'm not adding any value. I don't
Yep.
want them to think negatively of me.
Well,
So it's okay to communicate. It's better to communicate than for something to come down the pipeline and
yeah.
disrupt a bunch of
Yep.
stuff, and then you like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Then your boss of your company is like, why didn't you say anything?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell us that you were
Yes.
struggling? Why didn't? And
Yeah.
then so just communicate those things.
Yep. I learned a valuable lesson. Makes me think of a valuable lesson. The earlier on in my career, got laid off. The only time I ever got laid off,
Hmm.
and I had said something before to like the new manager that was taking over the department and restructuring and whatnot. And I was like explaining the challenges. He was a new leader for that department, and he called me out. He's like, "You should have went on record."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you're the subject matter expert, if things weren't going right, you should have went on record. And I was
Wow.
like, man, you know what? You're right. He was right. He was right.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why, good or bad, like me or not, I am going
Hmm.
to tell you what it is
Yep.
because I don't want to ever experience that again. Where folks say,
Yes.
"Oh, why didn't you say anything?" I mean, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, there's a difference between raising your voice and then complaining, right?
Right.
So you
Yes.
can complain to everybody
Yep.
and under the sun or whatever, but it's different if you're not talking to the right people. You know, saying, hey,
Hmm.
we have this stuff that may be present a issue or present problems, and you need to talk to the right people, communicate with the right people too.
Man, folks, there was another thing I wanted to chat about. Recently, there is AI is taking the world by storm, of course, and every year is something new.
Hmm.
Very recently, there's
Hmm.
something came out called Chat GPT. The GPT
Hmm.
stands for something, I forget what it is, but it's an amazing tool. And it just makes you think that, like, how will AI impact payroll in the future? And we've talked about this many times on the show because it has
Hmm.
many different implications. Yeah, just something to think about as a payroll professional. Keep in mind evolution, we're like at just at the very early stages of AI impacting payroll, so we're going to see it evolve and
Yeah.
really probably revolutionize in the next 5 to 10 years because of AI. And just think about, if you're a payroll professional, you should be thinking about that and how you will be a part and how you as a
Hmm.
payroll professional will evolve with it. I
Absolutely.
know we've had conversations about it many times and we get scared. Oh my gosh, is it gonna work us out of a job? And I don't think so. Not for intermediate to seniors. I think that for any payroll professional for that matter, we just have to refocus on what it
Yeah.
is that you will do as a payroll professional, because if AI is doing everything, there will still be a need for a human to monitor the
Yeah.
system,
Well,
right?
it's like you said earlier, it's part of the evolution
Yeah.
that's happening.
Yeah.
Technology is going to become more prevalent in a lot of different workspaces,
Yep.
and we have to evolve with that. We have to educate ourselves.
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
part of continued education.
Yeah. Yep.
So we have to continue to educate ourselves. And going back to what you said, the GPT part of
Hmm.
that stands for generating pre-training.
Ah. Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
can't even begin to understand it. I so for instance, folks, if you're a payroll professional, you haven't heard of Chat GPT yet, and you're like, what is he talking about? It's AI, man. I don't know. It's artificial intelligence that they're trying to create something that can have a conversation with you. You can ask
Mm-hmm.
it questions and it give you answers, but it's like having a conversation with the smartest human in the world. That's really what it is. The probably non-human capability when no human can do what it does. So for instance, I asked it to, like, okay, so we can talk about this, right? We've developed our own 5 pillars of payroll, and they're up for discussion, of course, but I could argue everything you may rebut into one of these categories. That's my
Mm-hmm.
claim, that's my IP, whatever. But I asked Chat GPT, hey, what are the 5 pillars of payroll? And it came up with 5 really distinct and good examples of what could be. It was like time and attendance, calculating the check,
Mm-hmm.
gathering the information, documenting it, and record keeping, something like that, are solid. That's solid for payroll, right? What else could it do? So I took one of our show transcripts, unedited, because folks, when we start our recording, me and Walter just BS for a little while just to get warmed up, and we catch up on, hey, what'd you do yesterday and what'd you do today? Oh, I'm gonna eat this for lunch and blah blah blah. We just talk just to
Yeah.
warm up and get into it. So it was all of that, and I didn't tell you this. I did this last night. I ran it through, and immediately composing a email. I say composing. I think email. It was composing a response like in front of you, and
Oh
and it,
wow.
bro, it took that, I don't know what hour or something that we recorded, and
Mm.
it reduced it down to 1 paragraph summary,
Oh wow.
and it was accurate.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, one. So that's something it can do. It can, you can tell it to give you the 5 key points, and so things like that. Like I'm sure that I don't know the scope of what it can do. I'm just doing little things with it.
Yeah.
But for us, for actual useful practice, I think we can run our transcript through it, and it could create a nice show note for us that we
Okay.
can
Okay.
post. Yeah, it's making work a little easy. So these are the ways, folks, that this Chat GPT is going to change work, right? The way
Yeah.
you work. Instead of having to type all this stuff, you have a tool that's helping you get there. Now, of course, the number one disclaimer with Chat GPT is that it can be wrong and it can be offensive, they said.
Mm.
So you have to be careful. And then it circles back to my point about AI and payroll. You will still need somebody to monitor it, because whatever
Mhm.
you put into whatever GPT is telling you, you need to read it and know that you have to be a subject matter expert. You have to be able to validate what it's saying.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. And it's no different than
Hmm.
Google, right?
Yeah.
Google spits out all these emails, gosh, all these links,
Mm-mm.
and not all of them are good. Not all of them are trusted
Mm-mm.
sources. You have to
Yep.
know how to sift through it.
Yep.
So it's no different than that. But oh my gosh, what an amazing tool.
Yep.
There's another tool out there right now when we were talking about work smarter, not harder,
Mm.
leveraging technology. There's another tool out there that helps you I sent it to you when helps you create how-to manuals very
Yes.
easily.
Yes.
And the tool, basically, you get the tool. It is a paid tool. You have to go out and pay for it.
Mhm.
You once you turn it on, it starts recording whatever you're doing on your computer. Clicks, screen. If you have multiple screens, it has all of it. So you turn it on, and then you start working, And then it does have a limit. I got to look in the limitations of it. Remember, I tell you there's a time limit, whatever. But then when you press stop and it starts processing, it gives you back screenshots of what you did. And it says, click here, then click here. It gives you the words and the screenshots, just like I used to make in Word and PDF.
Wow.
Yes. And I dreaded I used to really like making how-tos, but it took so much time that it became like it became a nuisance because you have to do the screenshots. You have to do a process,
Yep.
stop and capture the process while you're doing it, copy paste it, then
You have to
type
do
in.
all the typing,
Oh
all
my
that stuff.
gosh.
Yep.
So long it takes. So
Yep.
this tool cut all that down. It's an
Oh, that's
amazing
cool.
tool on how to create stuff. It's gaining a lot of popularity right now, and it's AI at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
again, folks, how will AI impact our work? And if you're smart, you embrace and you leverage. Okay?
Yep.
Do not reject AI change and how will it impact your work. Because I promise you, if you embrace and leverage it, you will be seen as a pioneer in this field. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, we need to go to this person because they're killing it with it.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because this is the way you need to move. We're in business to make money.
Yep.
So, yes, as much as we want to keep jobs and all that, at the end of the day, your company is trying to cut jobs. I promise you.
Yep.
Not in a malicious way, but in the
Yeah.
bigger grand scheme of things, even if it means the next 5 to 10 years can reduce their workforce, they're going to.
Yeah, especially if they feel like, hey, we can work smarter, not harder, do more with less. Then, hey, they're going to do that. Hey, we can leverage who we have in our current company model right now and use them to get this job done, especially
Yeah.
if they can do it in a good way.
Yeah. And again, I hate when I say some things that can be misinterpreted. Like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose our job. No, it could be attrition. Folks could use, like when somebody leaves naturally, they could just not backfill. That is a strategy that companies use is, hey, let's use natural attrition to get down. And then we'll be able to use technology to stay like that. But again, embrace technology, learn how to use it, move with the times, because that is who we need to be right now. We need to be able to evolve, change on a dime, pivot on a dime,
Yeah.
adapt, and then most importantly, be kind to each other in the process.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
Yep.
again, if AI is taking all this work away from us, what is it that we're really going to do? We're going to still have to interact as people.
Yeah.
So we need to be kind. We got to up our people skills, keep our technology skills evolving as well.
Yes, sir. Great
Yeah,
points, man. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, folks, we just, again, AI is a big conversation, just something you guys can think about, distract yourselves. It's fun. Look at, dude, you don't have to do work with ChatGPT. You could do some research, you could do stuff. If you get on the Discord for it, you can see all the amazing things that these folks are doing out there, and you could see what the community's saying, see what the users are saying about it. It does a lot of fun things too. Oh, another fun one is the picture one you just did.
Yes, yes,
Right? I don't know what it's called.
The avatar.
The
Yep.
I don't know if it was even an avatar. It just
But that's
gives
what they're
like,
called. That's what they're called.
oh, is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think it's just regenerating images of you in different ways, of us in different
Yeah.
ways. Because it's not drastically. Can you like change the setting on it on how animated the results are?
No, they just generated
They just,
themselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. Avatar, I see as like you can create a whole separate self. These are you can still tell that's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, it looks photoshopped and stuff if you know who you are in real. Like I know what you look like in real life.
You look like that, bruh.
You don't look like that. So it's nice images though. It's really cool though. So again, there's tons of fun stuff you could do with it. And for the creatives out there, I wonder what it's doing. Our brand manager uses AI for his work and stuff like that. There's fun stuff in it too, guys. You got to be like, God, these guys work like ridiculous. Talking about not working, but they're working. But yeah, it's again because either way, you got to evolve. Like you got to stay on top of this.
Yeah.
You got to evolve with the times. If you're young in the game right now and you got another 20, 40 years of work, you better recognize. Now, if you're looking at your last 10 years, then all right, maybe you don't have to adjust so much, but keep it in mind because if not, you're gonna expedite your retirement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still have to be employable for the last 10 years of your career, whatever it might be. So at any stage in your career right now, you just gotta be mindful of how and where this evolution, this AI will impact you in the payroll game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great points, man.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So I see you have some other notes, man, just about the holidays and New Year's and stuff.
Yeah. So again, folks, just taking a break. We're talking about burnout, right? I think for me, it was like having that break over the like Thanksgiving holiday
Mm,
was such a refresher
yeah.
that when we talked about should we break again for these hot Christmas, New Year's holidays, I was yes. But it was like the first episode of season 4 is a doozy, right? We have to prepare, and we haven't had the time to prep for this show the
Mm,
way that you deserve.
yeah.
So we keep putting it off. We're gonna keep putting it off, and it just kind of work. The timing is working out well, where it's all holiday season. Like,
Mm,
all right, the writing is in the stars that say just okay, wait, January. What's the day that will drop the new one?
it'll be the
January 2023, season 1, season 4, episode 1.
Yep.
January 8th, 2003, season 4, episode 1 will drop. And season 4, we're looking at payroll from the company perspective. What
Yep.
is it that's important to the owners, the leaders at the company for payroll, right?
Yep.
And that's what we'll be doing there. Super excited. There's so much good content. We have a few guests in mind. We'll be off for the next 2 weeks. Where then we might drop some little recordings out there. Look out for a little snippet about what Christmas means to you and the holidays means to you and how to approach New Year's and stuff like that. But we're gonna pre-record it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with keeping content out, especially since our stats from last year is like what Walter had clarified for us is we were the top producers of content, 80% more
80%
content
more. Yes. Yes.
than than in the business category.
Yep.
Period.
Not just
That's
payroll in the
huge.
business. Yeah.
That's huge for Spotify. There's a lot. We're obsessed with this stuff. So that just solidified for me. Like, we will never stop recording. So, yeah, man, we're super proud of ourselves. And we're just going to keep it going. We'll keep you with stuff. But again, we'll be on a break for a little while. January 8th, we'll start the new season 4. Until then, just take it easy. Entertain yourselves. And I think Walt has a great quote to leave us off on.
Yeah. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And it says, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. I think that's it, folks. Have a great holiday season. And
Yep.
check back for little snippets on stuff over the weeks. But again, we'll see you fresh in January, folks. God bless. Have a great New Year.
God bless. Have a great New Year. Happy holidays, everybody.
Peace.
All right. Peace. Thank you for listening to today's episode of our podcast. We appreciate you. We're grateful for you. And we hope that the information that was shared with you will impact you as a payroll professional. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.